Most of the real oppression that goes on revolves around sexual activity.
How does it happen? How does that happen to a young girl or a young boy?
There are so many ways for children in our society, young people in our society, to fall through the cracks, runaways, kids from broken homes, all kinds of holes in the foster system. It's sad to even say, but that people even traffic their own children. The depravity and the oppression that we're talking about is huge. It's something that has to be understood. It's got a massive spiritual component to it. This is not a lack of education. It's not a lack of opportunity.
It's evil.
It's evil. Unmitigated, unadulterated evil.
It can also happen to a middle-class girl in suburbia who may just have a little bit of a lower self-esteem, and she's on Facebook more than she is with her friends, and she starts finding somebody to friend on Facebook, and it goes down that trail. And then he says, you know what, let's meet up at the mall, I'd love to meet you. And he's got her because he's wooed her on Facebook. And a lot of times the traffickers are very smart. They actually use women to become friends with that girl on Facebook, and so she really thinks that she's built a relationship with a girl sometimes and then meets up. So it's no respecter of persons.
Pattie, is it
low class to high class?
Is it more predominantly girls that are being trafficked?
Well, currently Georgia does not have any statistics on boys, though we know that it is happening to boys. So predominantly it is girls, but we do know that it happens to boys in our city.
Yeah.
Y'all, this is just so. What can we do? God, what can we do?
Well,
what can our viewers do? What can I do?
Yeah.
The first thing is to get yourself educated and get aware, understand that there's a problem out there. There's lots of ways to plug in, and one of the things that I'm really big on is trying to help people find all of the groups that are doing all the different things, because it's a multifaceted problem. There's a lot of different ways that people can get involved, and you can volunteer helping in the restoration process. You can help in the awareness process. There's need for people to go out and do rescue stuff, but there's also a need to get people to understand the root causes of all this.
Yeah, what is it?
Well, lust, for lack of a better word, but there's a demand, and there's a lot of abuse. Child abuse plays into this hugely on both sides. The abusers and the abused become part of this. The sensationalization of sex in our society.
I mean, seriously, it is ad nauseum to the point you just think that's the be all end all.
And the availability. There's every high school student is on their smartphone, and you can view pornography. Pornography has become free. People don't understand the role pornography plays in this, because it builds over time. You become addicted to pornography, and nobody starts out and says, hey, I think I want to buy a 15-year-old girl tonight. You go down this slippery slope of depravity and addiction, and at some point in time, that's where it ends up.
So at minimal, we can pray.
Yeah, well,
the very least we can do is pray.
Yeah.
But we also, like you said, can get involved and give our resources and our time. You're actually on the street, hands-on with some of these girls.
Yes.
Out of Darkness touches the thing really on the streets. Tell us about what you do, Pattie, and how can we get involved with that? That scares me.
Yeah.
I think I'd be uncomfortable with that.
It's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody, but it does. I'm so thank God that you're doing it. So tell me about what all you do.
There's a lot of different parts to Out of Darkness, and I really got involved on the local level because they were a lot more hands-on, tangibly helping these girls. And Out of Darkness began because our founder, his name is actually Jeff Shaw, and he saw a real problem when the girls are trying to escape from their pimp or run from a situation is usually at 2 in the morning, not 2 in the afternoon, and a lot of the services were 9 to 5. So he said, we got to do something, and God really spoke it, to his heart, and it's just been amazing. So it began in November of 2011, and we've been able to see 71 girls come off the street since November of 2011.
How do you do it? How do you give us a visual of what it looks like?
Absolutely. It's more in 3 parts to help you think about it. We have a reach aspect, a rescue, and a restore. So on the reach, we are out on the streets every single Friday night handing out roses to girls that are visibly on the street. And their pimps can be really close by, but we still have the men in the background waiting and praying and being kind of the protectors. The women go and give roses and a hotline number on a card that says hope. Or in a beautiful card that churches have made that say you're loved and beautiful, you're worth more than this, and to give them a hotline number that they can take back and pass around. Then we actually have quarterly trainings where we train lots and lots of volunteers. People are coming forth, they want to be involved in this issue like you. You're saying, well, what can I do? And then the men, they go, what can I do? Because a lot of time they're looked upon as the demand or the perpetrators, but there's men that want to stand up, be like godly men like Todd, and say, I want to do something about this problem. God's created me to be a protector, to be, someone to provide. So they step up and they say, I want to be a rescuer. I want to be a responder. So we train them. The hotline number goes out to about 12 or 13 cell phones. It's the first to pick up. And then they look and see the rescuers that are in the area where the girl is located. They go in twos, a guy and a girl, to pick up that woman. And then they take her to one of our 2 safe homes, and we're hoping to continue to expand to 2 or 3. And they're actually just a 15 to 21 day program where then we have volunteers flood in, bring them food, take them for walks, court appointments, probation appointments, all of those things. And then the house mom who's over the home gets them into long-term care, which is about a year. And then we're just reintegrating that girl.
How much, Todd, is drugs involved in this sex trafficking? Because I would think, I mean, for some, are they addicted to drugs? Are they forced to do drugs?
Drugs are used as part of the coercion, part of what keeps them in place. The people who are involved in drug dealing, one of the things that's really ramped this up lately is the gangs who are involved in drug dealing have now found that it's actually more lucrative to do trafficking, prostitution.
More money in it.
Yes, when you buy drugs and sell drugs, you have to buy the drugs and you replenish your inventory, and so that comes out of your bottom line. If you can traffic a girl,
it's free.
Once you've brought her in, what it costs to keep her alive is it. So the overhead is very low, so to speak. I hate talking about it like this, but these are the realities you have to deal with. So it's brought this element in, the street gangs and the drug dealers and the people who deal in guns and things like that. It's become a really nasty, violent thing.
And big.
And big. Yeah.
Is the traffickers, do they fit a certain kind of profile or demographic? Can you spot them?
No.
Not necessarily. And a lot of them are victims too, that they've been through some sort of abuse. They've been desensitized. To be able to treat people like this and sell them for sex, you have to be at a level of desensitization where and the violence that's involved. You're hardly a human being anymore either. So there's victims all over the place in this issue.
But isn't this a form of slavery? I mean, isn't this a modern day form of slavery that we're dealing with? And as a community, as a country, as a state, as a country, we would not tolerate it. So this is something we're going to have to put our foot down and really rise up as a community to take a hold of. Okay, how prominent is it here? Do you have any statistics to let us know?
The Shapiro Group was a research group a few years ago now, did a study, and we have between 250 and 500 adolescent girls, not girls over 18, but girls under 18 that are trafficked in Georgia each month. And they say about 7,200 men are their purchasers each month, and that's outside the perimeter. A lot of times they come in to the city of Atlanta to purchase sex. So we do have a huge problem here in Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta is one
7,200 men purchase sex, and these are girls under the age of 18.
Under the age of 18.
Yeah, Atlanta's
are we
one
creating these predators? Are we actually are we forcing these people to do this? I mean, is this an addiction? What is it, Todd?
There is an addictive quality to it. There's brain chemistry involved in it. That sex drives this sort of thing. The pornography, the availability of pornography creates this atmosphere where men just kind of become on this track. Nobody starts out deciding that they're going to purchase an adolescent girl. They go down this track of pornography and strip clubs, and all of these things feed into it together. But it's a societal problem. We've got to see it in a big picture, and we've got to find solutions that involve everybody.
So you're saying we've got to address the trafficker and the girl, and we've also got to address the predator, the
purchaser.
guy, the purchaser who's buying it.
Yeah.
Okay, how do we do that? I mean, I know it's organizations like Expose, ATL, and Out of Darkness. How do we do that as a viewer, as myself sitting here talking to you? How can I be part of the solution?
Well, like you said, I really have a strong heart for the issue of pornography. They say that pornography addicts the brain more than crack. And we all know how addictive crack can be, crack cocaine. So when a man watches pornography, or a woman, it takes them into an addictive state to where I'm hearing statistics that over half of our middle school boys are addicted. And they say that, once you go down one way, then they want younger and younger and younger. So we are, I believe, as a society, as an over-sexualized society, creating the predator. And that's scary. So how you can help is you talk to your sons. You talk to your daughters about
what
the
do you
issue of
say?
pornography.
What do you say to them? What do you say to your boys?
One of the things
Tom,
you have
maybe
to
you can, as a
people
man.
need to understand that pornography harms. It's not a victimless crime. It tears down your ability to have proper relationships. When you become addicted to pornography, you cannot be intimate with the normal woman because you need to have this sensationalized airbrushed fantasy thing. And there's men out there who cannot have normal relations with their wife because they are so far down this track of having to have something that is not real. It takes you to non-reality. And we've got to come together as a country, as a society, and understand these things and begin working in it. And again, trying to fight this whole issue of children being trafficked and women being trafficked. We've got to find different ways to plug into it. And there's lots of different things that everybody can do.
Does education help?
Oh yeah, we need to get to our high school kids and help them understand the dangers of pornography. It's not something that they can fool with.
So you're saying really sex trafficking, human trafficking starts there. That's the infancy stage of what happens. So let's just give me an example of a story from Out of Darkness where give us hope here, because that's what your organization does. Your feet to the floor, you're on the ground doing the work and touching these girls' lives. Give me some hope here. Give me a story, Pattie.
Well, we began in November of 2011, and one of our very first rescues, she is just doing amazing today. When I first met her and I shook her hand and got her name, it was just nothing but despair and depression on her face. And just through community involvement and counseling and getting her the right connections, she has just really transformed. She's really butterflies. That whole perspective of cocoon to a beautiful butterfly, just the joy on her face, and to see someone transformed and pulled out of that environment, and to see the reworking of her heart happen is really beautiful. And we're seeing more and more of that as we rescue these girls.
Do you guys have volunteers in your organizations? How can we get involved if we're not?
We cannot do what we do without volunteers.
Yeah,
we're 100% volunteer run. We have quarterly trainings where we train people on how to become rescuers of these young girls at any part of the night and take them to a safe home. We have responders, through the ones who respond to the cell phone call when the girl is immediately running from her situation. We have girls and men that go out every Friday night to hand out roses and to tell these women that they're loved and beautiful and they're worth more than that.
Is that all it takes though, Pattie? Is it just walking up to the girl saying, listen, there's another way?
Not all the time. That's why we hit them on all different angles. But a lot of times they're in an environment that is this awful. You know, there's nothing beautiful about that environment. And so to be able to present something natural, like just a rose, it's beautiful and red and just absent of the environment that they're currently in, it just gives hope. And we give a card that says hope, and it has a heartline number on it.
I tell you, you've got to come back. This is a subject that could go on and on and on. So I appreciate you guys being here. Todd, thank you for all you do. Pattie, Out of Darkness, you're on the streets touching people. We love you. We appreciate you. And I just want to tell you, get involved. Hit these websites. I'm going to say it again, exposeatl.com and outofdarkness.org, and find out what's going on with human trafficking and how you can get